Chapter 7. The God of War does not like gifts. You're dreaming. Sophia would rather die than agree to such a condition. Well then, just wait and see. Liam smirked slyly before turning to leave. Ethan noticed Sophia's pale complexion, so he held her hand and asked, "Sophia, what happened? Who was that man just now?" She shook her head. Nothing happened. But deep down, she knew Liam wouldn't let her be. Her heart was restless the entire way. Halfway through, they were suddenly surrounded by a large group of people. These were security personnel, each one pointing a gun at them. Sophia's face turned ashen as she gripped Ethan's hand tightly. Michael and Kayla were paralyzed with fear as well, because they knew this was Liam's revenge. The leader of the squad, all dressed in combat uniforms, looked at them coldly, his eyes merciless behind his goggles. "Is this the criminal you mentioned?" "Yes, Mr. Mason," Liam replied. "This man was released from prison today. How could he be qualified to attend such a dinner? I suspect he's hiding something. If anything happens tonight, can you bear that responsibility?" "What? Is that true?" This Mason was the deputy commander of the security team, in charge of the banquet's safety. He had no idea how they got in. Liam, putting on a flattering smile in front of Sophia, turned to Mason and said, "Either way, I suggest we arrest him first. We need to eliminate any potential threats." Mason's cold voice rang out. "Correct. How can he attend such a dinner right after being released from prison? Check their invitations first." Sophia and her parents froze in shock. They had no invitations at all. "Show your invitations," Liam barked arrogantly. Ethan answered calmly, "We don't have an invitation." Liam's grin widened upon hearing this. "Ha ha ha! Did you hear that, Mason? They don't have any invitations at all. Something is definitely wrong here." "Men, arrest them," Mason ordered. At that point, Sophia was already in panic. "If they arrest us, my parents and I will be fine, but Ethan, he'll surely be framed by Liam and thrown back into prison." Sophia cried out angrily, "Wait, we passed through the security checkpoint. What makes you think we don't have the right to be here?" "Impossible," Liam sneered. "Invitations are required to enter this place. Even tonight's guest of honor, the God of War himself, needs an invitation. If you don't have one, something is definitely off." "Yes, that's true," Mason replied firmly. He knew everyone, even the wealthy, had come with invitations. "Detain them." Michael and Kayla shut their eyes in terror, trembling. Sophia, too, was overwhelmed with fear. Liam laughed mockingly. "Accept your fate, Sophia. This is what you get for rejecting me." Suddenly, Ethan shouted, "Who told you that an invitation is required to enter?" Everyone stopped and stared at him in disbelief. At that moment, Sophia tugged on Ethan's sleeve, urging him to stop talking, while Michael and his wife were petrified by his boldness. Is he walking straight into disaster? Ethan gently patted Sophia's shoulder. "Can you trust me once more?" She nodded. "All right." Then Ethan fixed his gaze on Mason. "Call your superior and ask him, can Ethan Cole enter without an invitation?" "Ha ha ha! Is he insane? Who does he think he is?" Liam and his men burst into laughter. Mason, irritated by Ethan's words, still did as told. "Fine, I'll ask the commander if he knows you." Liam, standing nearby, laughed even louder, delighted to see Ethan making a fool of himself. By now, a large crowd had gathered around the commotion, making Sophia and her parents bow their heads in embarrassment. This is humiliating. Mason contacted Jack Turner, the commander of the security team, through his headset. When the reply came through, Mason's face went pale. His eyes filled with fear and awe as he looked at Ethan. He stammered, struggling to speak. "Yes, understood, sir."
Liam, oblivious to the situation, asked eagerly, "So what's the result, Mr. Mason?" "Slap!" The answer he received was an unexpected slap across the face that sent him flying 7 or 8 meters away. His mouth filled with blood, and a few of his teeth were knocked out. "Mr. Mason, why?" Liam's eyes widened in shock, stuttering. But Mason stepped forward and delivered another punch, making blood gush from his nose. "Why? You abused your authority and deliberately created obstacles for Lady Reed. They may not have invitations, but they are honored guests, invited through proper channels. And you disrupted order and ruined the banquet's atmosphere. Men, arrest him and lock him up for a few days." 2 security guards grabbed Liam like a lifeless corpse and dragged him away. "Mr. Cole, Mrs. Reed, I offer you my deepest apologies for this disturbance." Mason didn't dare linger a second longer. He quickly left with his men. The sudden turn of events left Sophia and her parents completely stunned. What just happened? Weren't they here to arrest us? Why did they arrest Liam instead? What's going on? Everything changed the moment Ethan mentioned his name. They 3 turned to Ethan. Sophia in particular looked at him suspiciously. "Aren't you going to explain what's happening?" "It's simple. We may not have invitations, but our presence is legitimate, so we're safe. What Liam did just now disrupted the banquet. You saw how the crowd gathered, right? They all formed a bad impression. If the God of War hears about this, forget about Liam. Even Jordan Miller couldn't bear the responsibility." "I see," Michael replied immediately. "As long as we've proven our entry was legal, everything's fine." Kayla nodded. "Yes, that's true." Although Sophia still felt something was off, Ethan's explanation seemed flawless. It all sounded logical and reasonable. Yet when Ethan raised his head, his eyes gleamed coldly. He'd heard Liam's words earlier, and instead of letting him rot for just a few days, Ethan was determined to make him decay in prison forever. The banquet was simple, but the attendees were such prominent figures that Sophia and her parents dared not make a sound once seated. Ethan smiled. "Mom, Dad, why are you so nervous? Walk around. Wouldn't it be nice to make new friends and connections?" Michael and Kayla exchanged glances, but eventually decided to stay seated. Sophia tilted her head and gave Ethan a sidelong look. "Aren't you afraid?" Ethan's calm demeanor deceived her and her parents into thinking he was used to such occasions. "Why should I be afraid?" Ethan asked with a faint smile. Sophia thought to herself, maybe he's grown accustomed to dealing with vicious and cunning people in prison. So she stopped asking further. Meanwhile, large delegations began arriving at the banquet. Accompanied by large entourages, Jordan himself entered, followed by several other prominent figures of Northampton. "Ah, Michael, look," Kayla whispered. "Everyone brought gifts. Even Miller's secretary is holding a gift box. It seems we're the only ones who came empty-handed." They all glanced around, and it was exactly as she said. Everyone had gifts, except for their family. It was obvious as they sat quietly in the corner while the others gathered to present their offerings. Michael lowered his head. "We weren't informed about the rules. I didn't know." Kayla sighed. "Yes, but Adam and his men thought ahead. Didn't you see the gifts in their hands earlier?" Sophia muttered. "This is all because of me. I wasn't sure if we could even get in." Michael nodded. "Maybe I should send someone to fetch gifts now. There's still time." Ethan rejected the idea immediately. "Mom, Dad, just enjoy yourselves. Perhaps the God of War does not like gifts." Sophia protested. "No, at the very least we should." But Ethan chuckled lightly. "I think the God of War will appreciate those who come empty-handed the most. Do you believe me?" Sophia shook her head. "I don't."
Chapter 8. Things are getting better. Did you see that? They came empty-handed. Don't they know the rules, or do they simply have no respect for the god of war? I don't think I've seen them before. Who are they? Did they sneak in here?" Soon everyone noticed Michael and his family. After hearing the whispers all around, Michael wished the ground would swallow him whole. It was unbearably humiliating. It's one thing to be shamed in front of strangers, but here, surrounded by people of influence, it was far worse. They weren't only silent attendees, but nobodies in a room full of powerful figures. The humiliation was crushing. Moments later, the hall descended into chaos. Everyone turned their eyes toward a group of men entering in full military uniform. Leading them was the true King of War, a man with a single star on his shoulder. His overwhelming presence silenced the entire audience. "Allow me to introduce myself briefly. I serve in the Eastern War Zone. My code name is Logan Hayes, and I am the right hand of the God of War." Logan Hayes scanned the room with a domineering gaze. Michael and his family trembled in fear at the sight. "This is terrifying. Even his right hand is a king of war." "Exactly. The god of war is the very first 5-star war god in all of Eurodia." Kayla was so anxious she nearly burst into tears. "We should have brought something, anything. What if he thinks we're insulting him?" Mayor Jordan nervously asked, "Logan Hayes, may I ask, when will the god of war arrive?" Logan smiled faintly. "Let's be honest. The god of war is already here among us, but he prefers to remain mysterious and rarely attends such gatherings. Even I did not expect him to show up tonight." His words stirred the crowd into frenzy. People began searching frantically for this hidden figure. "Stop looking," Logan ordered firmly. "Just know this: the god of war is watching your every word and action. Tonight, I will act as his intermediary. If you need anything, you may come to me." Michael whispered under his breath, "Isn't that a hint?" The others quickly caught on as well. William Smith from Northampton presented the god of war with a pair of legendary pearls. The Northampton Chamber of Commerce offered a 200-year-old wild ginseng root. The Northampton Club presented a McLaren P1 supercar to the god of war. Everyone rushed forward with their extravagant offerings, including even palatial estates. Seeing the flood of lavish gifts, Michael and Kayla lowered their heads in shame. Even Sophia wished she could escape outside. On stage, Logan Hayes glanced at the towering pile of gifts. His expression gradually turned cold. "What do you mean by these gifts?" His thunderous voice shocked the hall into silence. Even Mayor Jordan was left speechless. Everyone stared at Logan, utterly confused. "Are you insulting the god of war?" "Of course not. Never." The crowd trembled at his words. "Mark my words. The thing that God of War hates the most are gifts. Don't you dare play tricks with him. By doing this, you are belittling him with your arrogance." The rebuke struck them like a hammer. Everyone understood instantly. Was the God of War short of money? Of course not. The God of War possessed unimaginable wealth and unrivaled power. "Please calm down, Lord Logan. We were wrong." Logan's cold gaze swept over the guests. "Is there anyone here who has not presented a gift?" People exchanged glances but found no one. Everyone had already given. Ethan whispered, "Father, raise your hand. This is your chance." Sophia and her parents were listening closely. They felt relieved to hear that the God of War hated receiving gifts, but they lacked the courage to raise their hands. "Sophia, if you trust me, raise your hand. It's definitely a good thing." Trusting him, Sophia slowly raised her hand. All eyes turned towards her. Logan fixed his gaze at her. "Good, very good. To come empty-handed shows true respect for the God of War. Well done." Hearing praise from the King of War himself, Sophia and her parents instinctively stood, stunned and honored. "What's your name?" Logan asked. I'm pleased to meet you, Lord Logan. My name is Sophia Reed, and this is my father, Michael. Logan nodded solemnly. Very well, I will remember your names. From now on, your family will be given priority in any favorable opportunities that arise. The entire hall was stunned, including Mayor Jordan. Sophia and her parents, overwhelmed and confused, expressed their gratitude. They never imagined such a blessing would fall upon them. By the end of the banquet, they felt as though they were floating on clouds. My God, did that really happen? Michael even received business cards from influential leaders who suddenly treated him with newfound respect. Kayla beamed. You are truly fortunate, my little girl. Sophia glanced at Ethan. Mother, we owe it all to Ethan. He knew the God of War hated gifts and encouraged me to raise my hand. I never would have done it without him. He really amazed us tonight, Michael admitted. Would we even have had the chance to attend this banquet without him? Their impression of Ethan changed drastically for the better. Ethan, however, shrugged casually. It was just good timing. I asked a friend to get us a few invitations, that's all. At that moment, Sophia looked at Ethan differently. Everything tonight seemed to be under his control, as if he could solve anything with just a few words. Could he really have powerful connections? Could he be the hidden force behind it all? But how was that possible? He had been in prison for 6 years. She quickly dismissed the thought. It had been a long, exhausting night, but fortunately it ended on a high note. Michael and Kayla felt as though they were dizzy with relief, having redeemed themselves in front of the Reed family. But later that night, Eric called. Michael answered. You and Sophia will not be going to work starting tomorrow. What? Eric's cold, merciless voice came through the phone. You've disappointed me deeply. When will you pay back the $2.8 million you owe? Father, Enough. Since you can't repay, I'll be taking back the company and putting Adam and Sandra in charge. You're on your own now. Click. The phone slipped from Michael's hand and hit the floor with a loud thud. When Sophia and Kayla heard what had happened, they clung to each other in tears. Ethan asked calmly, What's wrong? Sophia cried out, Grandfather took back the company. We have no jobs now. They will regret this, Ethan said coldly. Meanwhile, at the Reed estate, Tyler asked cautiously after Eric ended the call. Are you sure this is a good idea? Ethan really doesn't have any influence, does he? Hunter chuckled. Father, I already checked. My old friend who works at the municipal water office was at the banquet. He said Ethan is just a nobody who relied on a friend to get in. And the funniest part, their family was the only one that didn't bring a gift. As if that wasn't embarrassing enough, they actually took it seriously when they heard the God of War hates gifts. The room erupted in laughter. Eric sneered coldly, I'll strip them of their company and leave them jobless as punishment for disgracing me at Paradise Villa. The shame they brought upon me today still burns. Hunter grinned slyly. Exactly. Let's make sure the company is back in your hands. That's right, Adam added. They're nothing but ungrateful fools who don't respect Grandfather. I swear I'll make their lives miserable. Eric looked at Adam with pride in his eyes. The Reed family depends on you now, Adam. I don't think we'll be able to secure the Eco Park development project in West City tomorrow. But no matter, you must work harder and use your connections to bring us even bigger projects.
Don't worry, Grandfather, Adam replied confidently.